everyone. My name is Melissa Denizard. I am a 21-year-old, in the past, I would say organizer, but I'm actually starting to transition away from calling myself that. But that's how I got my entry into social justice work, specifically around education equity, and specifically around making sure that Black folks were able to take up space and also able to have their lives honored. I mean, honestly, I got started because there was a need for it. We weren't getting the same quality of education that neighboring school districts that are majority white were receiving, watching our resources being taken away from us, going from one year having arts and music and sports programs to the next year no longer having that. It was really out of need, out of necessity to organize, to really foster more student voices in the politics that was ongoing in our school district. Around that same time, Black Lives Matter started, appearing on the national stage, and that's also when I really started to develop a politic around Black liberation and what it means to be fighting for Black people. And because my freedom is resting upon the freedom of my community members and the freedom of Black folks across the globe. I spent a lot of time doing political education work. And so now I'm really invested in how do we, one, actually get Gen Z to show up to learn this really important theory from the Black radical tradition, and two, how do we actually transform the pedagogy in the way that we teach? I think a lot of institutions, academia, is one, a very violent institution for Black students and people of color. I think oftentimes it can be very difficult to see yourself represented in what you're learning. And two, I think a lot of these institutions are really archaic in the way that they're teaching. I mean, like we have trouble focusing now. Like our attention spans are like gone. And so it doesn't make sense to necessarily give someone an hour-long lecture if we know that they're not going to be able to focus for that long. Or it doesn't make sense to innovate the way that we teach and create a more multidisciplinary approach that includes images, that includes audio, that includes the written word to actually get people to care and also get people's attention. I think delayed freedom is delayed because it's a cycle. It's like you experience a win and then there's another obstacle for you to fight off. Just like, for example, my ancestors in Haiti, we won that revolution in the 18th century. We won it. We received what would be a really short-lived freedom. It's more so that we're in this cycle of revolution and we're constantly having to anticipate the obstacles that are being placed to stop us from getting to that future that all of us are dreaming of. The freedom will always be delayed if we're constantly bringing all of these toxins, the toxins of white supremacy, into the future with us. If we are right now in this present building a better future, we also have to be very intentional about what are the things that we are leaving behind and what are the things that we are bringing forward with us. I often feel free when I am in this space, in my room, with my partner, when we are enjoying just the mundanity of life, like the sun shining through the curtain in the morning, or us binge watching a show and making commentary about it afterwards. That is where I feel the most safe. That is where I feel the most understood, and that is where I feel the most at home. And so I think I feel most free when I am able to access my idea of home, my idea of freedom in real time, and my world that I'm creating within this bigger world that is oftentimes a hellscape for Black folks like me. The people who are going to bring us to liberation, to a better world, are not going to be the billionaires, are not going to be the folks who are the most popular. The people who are going to give us the most lucrative solutions for liberation are going to be the poor folks, are going to be Black women, are going to be queer folks, people who are always at the margin, who are always aware of what the dark underbelly of this country actually looks like. And so I think oftentimes we tend to overwhelm these people with labor, but what's going to change our reality is a willingness to heed their leadership and to trust them to envision the world that we are all seeking, that new world that we are all wanting to exist in.